Hello family, this is Deborah Yah with Black Education TV, and I'm going to be talking about human nature today. Human nature is very, very interesting and is so far removed from the divine nature of the Most High. So far removed from the divine nature of the Most High. Now, we know that in the beginning, we were very close to the Most High. Started in the garden, there was a very, very close relationship with mankind and with the Most High. And because of the fall, because sin entered in, the divine nature of the Most High departed from man and the human nature took over. And sin entered into the world because we became very far removed from the nature of the Most High. It is the nature of the Most High to be in total harmony with all of His creation. I mean, even after the fall, the Most High instructs each and every one of us. It even said that He is the creator of evil. And that's one thing, one aspect of the Most High that none of us want to deal with. He said, I created evil. He created all things. And that is one thing that must be understood, that He is the creator of all things, whether it be good or evil. Now, talking about the nature of mankind, the nature of mankind, human nature, is in a fallen state right now. It is in a fallen state because we refuse to align ourselves to the nature of the Most High. We like to inject our own nature into what the Most High's rules are, His already established rules. We want to inject our own nature. In other words, we want to tell the Most High, the Creator, how to run His business. The Most High, He has an established way. He has established His way in the heavens and in the earth. But man is kicking and bucking against the nature of the Most High. And the sad thing is, those who call themselves the children of the Most High, they have a way in which they like to do things that upsets the flow of the Ruach HaKodesh. This is why we see so much chaos. This is why we see the division of relationships, because we upset the flow of the Most High. And we think that there's a way, we think that our way is the right way. We want to go by our established rules. And we don't want to hear or listen to the voice of the Most High Yah. The Most High may direct you to do something totally different than what you are used to or what you believe you're supposed to do. When you are listening to the voice of the Most High Yah, His direction far supersedes anything you think you know. And see, that's the problem. A lot of people do not hear the voice of the Most High. They are following after their own voice, or the voices of others. They want to lay out correction to others on how things should be done when they themselves are lacking any closeness with the Most High to even hear His voice. Human nature is to struggle for survival. Now, if we were living in a divine nature, as the Most High intended for us, there would be no struggle. The struggle for survival comes because we dwell within human nature. And this is why we talk often about put ye on Yahushua HaMashiach. Wear Him as a garment so that you are hidden. The problem is we get up from our beds every morning and we present ourselves to the world as we are, without even attempting to put on the divine nature of the Most High Yah. If we were to put on that divine nature, we wouldn't fall into so many traps and snares of the enemy. Now, each and every one of us are guilty of this at some point, some more than others. But because we want to live under human nature, we are missing out on the divine nature and the power that comes with that. Human nature says, I don't want to be wrong in anything. I want to be right. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. And I'm going to do anything to protect myself. The scripture says, he that seeks to save his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life shall find it. As long as we're trying to preserve ourselves and our own ego, the thing that props up human nature, you're going to lose your life in the end because you didn't want to lose it in the beginning. The Most High Yah, he has a way back to the divine nature, but we don't want to take that path because we feel that the journey is too difficult. We don't know what's on the other side over there, and so we attempt to take the path of least resistance, the path that is more clear to us. Clarity is not always the best way. Sometimes you have to go through the rough patches in order to reach the goal of a divine nature. When I say we, I'm saying many of us that dwell here have been on one of the most intense spiritual battles we have ever faced. We have spoken about that here, and this is one of the most intense any of us have ever faced. And I'm not exactly sure that a lot of people could handle or deal with this. And we're talking about spiritual warfare. We're talking about dealing with the demonic world head on. We're talking about spirits, demons, and we're talking about the bouncing and transferring of wicked spirits, the manifestation. Now, a lot of people, like I said, couldn't handle this. Maybe at some point, if Yah wills, we will tell the story in more detail and give more information. But at this point, I'm just sharing with you that spiritual battles are so real. The movement and transferring of spirits is so real. It's no joke, family. No joke. And if you are not prepared, you will sink in confusion and fear. I think the Most High was preparing us for this for a long time. And I must say that I thank him for this experience, because one day he spoke to me and he said that we are to proceed with power. Now, you hear the statement often that says proceed with caution, right? But that is not what the Most High spoke to me. As I was walking one day, I was over in that area, in that direction, and I was walking up this hill, making my way over this way. And I heard, proceed with power. And that message really resonated with all of us, because we see what we have endured. At the time that that was spoken, we didn't know what we were up against. But now we know. Now we know, and we understand why the Most High wanted us to proceed with power. Again, the human nature separates you from divine power. Human nature causes us to focus more on our human feelings than the divine nature that the Most High wants us to dwell within. We'll concentrate more on the things that hurt our feelings, or the things that rub us the wrong way, or the things that anger us. We concentrate more on those things. And we don't even realize the spiritual things are going completely ignored. They're being ignored because we are so attached to the human nature side of things and not the divine nature. The Most High wants us to proceed with power, family. It's very weak, especially for those who claim to be the children of the Most High Yah. It is very weak for us to give all of this attention to our human nature while ignoring the divine nature that the Most High wants to be manifested in us. You cannot proceed with power if you are stuck in human nature. Human nature is also used as an excuse to do wrong, to do things that are divisive, because we feel justified in our wickedness. We find justification in Scripture by simply twisting up words and meanings and concepts. We twist it up so that we can justify our human nature, separating from the divine nature of the Most High and how He would do things. You see, there's a way which seems right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death and destruction. Now, the tricky thing about human nature is it's always going to try to come out on top. It's going to defend its wickedness. When it's confronted with things that came about as a result of them taking part in the human nature side of things, human nature is going to be to defend human nature. I'm going to defend my position, even if it means lying, conniving, cheating, whatever it is. Human nature is going to seek to survive, because it reminds me of what the Scripture says, that the flesh wars against the spirit. See, our flesh represents human nature. Our ruach, or our spirit, represents the divine nature that the Most High wants us to have. And when they war against each other, it comes out very explosive. And as I stated earlier, all of us have been guilty of this at some point. But also, at some point, we have got to give in to the divine nature and put the human nature to rest. Put it to death spiritually. Put it to death spiritually, because it interferes with the divine nature, and you cannot proceed with power. If you want to hear the voice of Yah, you have got to separate yourself from what that flesh of yours wants to do. That's a very difficult thing to do. We know this because we live in our flesh. And so we always want to nurture and pamper the flesh. One of the worst things about human nature, when you begin to delve into religion, is that you become very religious, which equates to self-righteousness, establishing your own righteousness, not being able to hear the voice of Yah because you are hearing the voice of human nature. And so therefore, you have so many different winds of doctrine going back and forth. So many different winds of doctrine going back and forth because the divine nature is being choked out. And the human nature is being elevated and lifted up. We have got to get to the point where we are crucifying our own human nature day by day. Because if we don't, it is going to cause spiritual death in us. Spiritual death keeps you separated from the Most High Yah, because the divine nature of Yah cannot exist in those who seek to please their flesh. It is very sad and unfortunate that in this day and time, we all know that we are very close to the end of this present world, but it seems like the fight is on to secure our flesh and to secure our human nature. especially for the children of the Most High Yah. We have allowed so many different things, including our egos and our own self-will, to cause us to do the very thing that the Most High don't want us to do. He doesn't want us to live and walk in disobedience to His word, to His ways, to His voice. See, many of us, we read the Bible, we come across some text, we think we know it all, but we don't. We don't understand it all. There is a proceeding word that comes out of the mouth of the Most High Yah that many of us cannot hear. We don't hear the proceeding word. All we hear is what we've read or what someone have told us. Think about the story of how Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac because the Most High Yah told him to. Right? But then the proceeding word, which came also from the Most High Yah, said, "Stay your hand, don't kill the lad. Don't kill your son." Now, because Abraham was a friend of Yah and was able to hear His voice and understand that it was the voice of Yah, in obedience, he was going to kill or sacrifice his son. But then also in obedience, he heard the voice of Yah who said, "Don't do it," and he stayed his hand because he was able to hear the proceeding word of the Most High Yah. So here's the deal, family. You got to separate yourself from your human nature and be aligned with the divine nature of the Most High Yah. If you want to truly proceed with power, this is what you must do. Because all of these human conflicts will continue to rise because your human nature is leading, directing, and guiding your life. No longer should human nature or flesh be at the wheel, guiding and steering anything. This is why the scripture says, "Walk in the Spirit," which means follow the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust or the desires of the flesh, which is your human nature. Walk in the Spirit, follow the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, and you will not fulfill the lust and desires of your human nature. I hope you all are getting and understanding this message. This message cuts both ways, that we have got to walk in the Ruach HaKodesh and not fulfill the desires of our human nature. Because our human nature keeps us in conflict with the Most High. It keeps us in conflict with each other. It keeps us in conflict with our own selves, so that we cannot do the things of the divine nature and we cannot proceed with power. We cannot hear the voice of Yah because we have the wrong person at the wheel, controlling things. Unfortunately, many of you will not get this message because you're so tapped into your human nature that you cannot listen to or hear anything or receive or digest anything that is going to be harmful to your human nature, because you care more about your human nature and your flesh than you do your spirit. He that seeks to save his life shall lose it. He that loses his life for the Most High's sake shall find it. Chew on those nuggets, family. Understand where I'm coming from. Understand this message of proceeding with power through the divine nature of Yah. Because the scripture tells us that we shall receive power after that the Ruach HaKodesh has come upon us. If you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, you need to seek it. Because you never know when you will be involved or engaged in an intense spiritual battle. And you don't want to be taken out physically and spiritually as a result of not knowing what to do. Some people actually lose their minds when they are involved in spiritual warfare. They lose their minds because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to fight. And some even lose their lives. Whether you want to believe it or not, family, it's coming. It is coming. And your refusal to adhere to these words is not going to stop the spiritual battle from coming. It is coming. And if you're a fleshly, carnally minded person, you will be totally caught off guard. You won't be prepared. But if you are a person who is seeking the face of Yah, who is seeking the will of Yah, if you are a person who is crucifying your flesh daily with its desires and its lust, then you are going down the right path. You are making that attempt to do what is right for your soul. At the end of the day, your flesh, which is this earthly tabernacle, will be dissolved. But the question is, where will you spend eternity? That's going to be determined by all of the attention that you direct in one direction or the other. If you're going to attend to your soul, or you're going to attend to your flesh. Are you going to attend to your human nature or the divine nature of Yah? Are you going to follow the Spirit or the Ruach? Or are you going to follow yourself or others? I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. But family, I want you to stay encouraged in the right direction. When you feel your human nature rising up, chastise it as you would a parent would their child. Chastise it as the Most High has done us, His children. You bring your human nature under subjection of the will of the Father. Now, I feel sorry for you if you're not one of those who knows how to separate your self-righteousness from the Most High's righteousness. Because all too often we see people who believe that what they are doing is the right thing, but they are actually interfering with the flow of the Ruach. They are using their flesh, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. You use your flesh, you think that you are promoting something spiritual or something of the Torah, but you are actually interfering with the flow of the Ruach. Because you don't know the Most High like you think you do. You don't hear His voice, you are hearing your voice. As nature is in harmony, full harmony with the Most High, every creature upon this earth knows what to do. They know how to function. We were speaking of the ant the other day and how the ant needs to be studied. We've talked about that in several broadcasts as well. They know what to do. Whether things are flowing smoothly or whether their environment has been interrupted, the ant knows what to do. And they fall in formation with each other because they know how to work together. They fall into formation with the divine nature that the Most High has put in the universe. That's why everything is in complete harmony with the Most High's nature except for humankind. Animals do what has been put in them to do. You don't have to tell the ant what to do. You don't have to tell the creature how to hunt. It's only when mankind or humans interfere with nature that things are changed. For instance, when you take an animal into captivity and you attempt to raise it in human captivity and you try to release it back into nature, it's so filled with the interruption of human nature that it can no longer function or survive in its natural habitat. All because of the interruption of human nature. But the divine nature of Yah has a flow that cannot be interrupted. And this is why animals do what they are supposed to do in nature until we interfere. I'm looking around and I see, and I know I said I was going to cut this off, but this thought came to me. I'm looking around at these trees. Every fall or autumn, they know what to do. Mankind doesn't need to go up there and start ripping the leaves off. The leaves begin to die because they are in full harmony with the flow of the Most High. And then at the appointed time, new life springs on these trees, new leaves form, and they grow. Completely uninterrupted by mankind. Those trees don't need us to tell them what to do because they are in harmony with what is natural, with what the Most High has told them to do. They are in complete harmony. No one needs to tell the birds how to mate and have more babies. Even the grass, as it dies back in the fall and winter, we don't have to tell it to wake up in the spring. The Most High has already established that. So now imagine this. Imagine if we, too, followed the flow of what is natural without human interference. We would be just like it was in the garden before the fall of man and woman. Everything flowed in complete harmony. Isn't that interesting? Okay, now family, I think I'm going to head back now. I think I'm done saying what I've had to say. And I'm going to say to those who have an ear to hear and understand what I am saying, crucify your human nature daily and get in alignment with the divine nature of the Most High Yah and proceed with power. And with that, I will say, I love you and shalom.